Hey, how's it going everybody? Mosey Designer here. And if you've been keeping up with the channel or the streams, you might have seen me playing Unreal Tournament. For me, it's like comfort gaming. Nostalgia, back to a simpler time. Anyways, while playing it, I was playing one of the maps, Space Noxx. And I thought to myself, could I remake this level in Unreal Engine 4? It shouldn't be too hard. It's just one circle with a hole in it, another circle that's raised up, 3 diagonal pillars. How hard can it be? It was a little harder than I thought, but it was a fun exercise to rebuild this level in Unreal Engine 4. So before I take a look or show you guys my remake, let's just do a quick run around of Space Noxx in UT99. So Space Noxx, as I mentioned, is a very simple map. It's just one circle with a hole in the center, floating in space, 3 diagonal pillars, and 1 circle that's above. It has some low gravity, some jump pads, but it's the nature of simplicity. You can't run anywhere, you can't hide anywhere, always bumping into players. It's pretty chaotic, kind of like Morbius or Leandri Core. In the simplicity nature of it, I figured, it shouldn't be too hard to remake. But it was a bit challenging, and I'll show you some of the footage of myself working on the level. Let's take a look at how I remade this level in Unreal Engine 4. So here's my rendition of Space Noxx, and I called it Noxx Tower, as there's a large tower in the skybox area, but basically it is the same concept, maybe a little bit bigger in scale, but it's the circular level with a hole in the middle and 3 pillars. However, mine's not floating in space. Mine's more of a sci-fi feel with a dawn, early morning type lighting. I'm not too happy with the lighting, but I think it's good enough. I can keep tweaking all day, but it's a little side project I wanted to work on. And yeah, just like the original level, I have my jump pads, I have my upper circular platform, the center platform, hole in the middle you can fall down and die. This was based off the shooter game template in Unreal Engine 4. I did not make this in Unreal Tournament, just because Unreal Engine 4 has more lighting features and stuff that the Unreal Tournament editor does not have. But like I said, I think the lighting is good, but not perfect. But I just kind of wanted to get this side project off the ground and running. So let's take a quick look at how I built the level and go from there. I do apologize if the video quality is dropped a little bit, because I downloaded my live stream footage and using that for video editing, so there might be a drop. But anyways, when I was making this on stream, I would kind of work my way through looking at a screenshot of Space Noxx and using some BSP to create the initial circular shell and try to get my scale right. The process is pretty quick and easy. I kind of had the feeling this may not work because it's too angular and not as circular as the level should be. Progress is being made, as you can see, and I'm getting that center ring built here right now. Luckily, one of the static mesh packages I'm using has a nice circular quarter circle asset, and using that I was able to kind of trace over my blockout and create that inner circle where the players fall into. And from here everything else was just like expanding one circle to the next circle to the next circle to get the right scale. So as you can see, just building upon a smaller circle to another circle to get that vibe of the center of Space Noxx. As you can see, I'm looking at my concept, well, not the concept, but a screenshot of the map. And with more static meshes, just repeating the process, making circular rings one after another till it feels right in terms of scale. And then I worked on expanding the outer rings out. So where the gaps were is where I was going to put my 3 pillars, and then the 2 pillars supporting the circle that's above. Sorry if I'm talking off the cuff because there's no script, I'm just talking over my own video. But yeah, here I am taking a look at the scale. Things feel right. So gonna work on these pillars next. So in the original map, the pillars are big, daunting, diagonal BSP shapes. And to recreate that same idea, I started finding some static mesh pillars and these pipes to create that same design angle that's found in the level. It's not exactly one-to-one, but the intention is there to create that imposing solid structure that goes on the outer edge of the ring. This stage I'm working on the upper circular platform, trying to figure out what shapes I can use with the packages I have, and it's starting to look a little janky, but the intention is there for the raised platform that's above the core circular path of the level. After a lot more work and iteration, the level layout looked pretty good, and I started making my own custom jump pad. It's a very simple thing I found on YouTube how to make. You just make your mesh in the blueprint editor and just add a script to launch the player. It's pretty simple. And here I am testing out my jump pad, or just the space of things. Yeah, there we go. So I was able to launch myself, but I didn't like the parameters of the launch player script, so I adjust some of the not math, but like the XYZ values to launch the player properly. Once the level was in a pretty good shape, I started doing a little bit more detail work. Some of the lighting in the sky is there, but it's in unlit mode. But yeah, this was the current lighting scheme I was working with. It had that dawn vibe, but not as punchy as it did with some of the post-process and fog I added in later. But just going around adding some lights and extra deco bits to make the space feel a little more interesting than just a circular path. So more skybox work. Just getting the sense of the space and getting more details out there to see what's appropriate. But it's pretty close to the final design. Taking some inspiration / meshes from the high-rise to build out my skybox, because I built a few skyboxes but they didn't feel right, so taking what works and using it to my own needs, there's no harm in that, I think, because I'd say majority of the level I built myself, just need some help with the skybox planning of how the buildings should fit together. And starting to build out my core building, which connects to the circular playable space. Kind of wanted to give it a little bit of storytelling because mine's not floating in space, so I have my space Noxx playable space connected to kind of a large tower, and there's a walkway where people could come from this high-rise into this observation deck, which is the playable level of Space Noxx, and I called it Noxx Tower because I have a tower. But again, taking some assets from the high-rise building because they look cool, they're already made, and I just wanted to implement them into my space because I think they look cool. So I'd say 90% originality, 10% copying from the high-rise map, but if it already works, why redo it, right? It's a little side project, it's not a fully playable level. Speaking of being a playable level, it kind of is, because the shooter game does support bots, but may not be the sharpest tools in the shed compared to the Unreal Tournament bots, but they work, and I was able to get them into my space and run around and shoot the bots on my rendition of Space Noxx. Beginning felt a bit weird because kind of spawned right next to each other, but as the match progressed, we had some distance and was able to have a bit of free-for-all deathmatch. Overall, I think the scale feels alright. The size of the static meshes and the lighting, it's pretty good. Is it perfect? No, but like I said, it's just a little side project. I thought, could I rebuild Space Noxx? And I think I've achieved that. But I decided to add a second bot for shits and giggles, and things got a little more hectic than I wanted to, but it was fun. I'll say that it was fun to play the level with some sort of bots, so it's not just a visual piece. If you like, I can share the full footage of myself playing against bots on a separate video. But yeah, they kind of kick my ass and kind of goes back and forth because I don't have all the proper guns that you do in Unreal Tournament. But the point is, was I able to make a remake? Yeah, I think I did. In summary, I mean, Unreal Tournament had some amazing maps. Space Noxx is one of those that's amazing and also simple, really hits on the notes of simplicity, just making gameplay king and not overburdening the level with excessive paths or anything. It's just pure and fun gameplay. And maps like that are a lot of fun to do, and it was a fun challenge to recreate this saved space in Unreal Engine 4 and be able to use simplicity but then expand upon it with static meshes and lighting that did not exist back then. But like I said, the lighting that I have isn't perfect, but I think it gets the point across of remaking the level from Unreal Tournament to Unreal Engine. So being totally unscripted, I probably rambled more than actually explaining much, but I hope you guys find this video entertaining, to say the least. I'll leave you with some screenshots that I took in the editor, and I'll put them up on my Earth station as well. But as always, thanks for supporting the channel, supporting the live streams when I go live, and checking out the content that I have. And like I said, this was just a fun exercise I did over a couple of days to remake an Unreal Tournament map in Unreal Engine 4. So I'll stop repeating myself and blabbering on. That's about it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.
Utini!